programme is called Something for the Weekend. It has been created and produced by Dave Clark. It is a How production for Sound Art Radio. Classic. Well, that was a bit of fun. So here we are, next day, Saturday, in the old kitchen, making an excellent cup of coffee, hopefully. It's going to behave. And so it's day two of the BodyKind Festival. So fun and games last night, now it's all the serious stuff. So we had quite a lot of dancing, and, bit of music, bit of comedy, bit of poetry, and today it's all kind of work. That's now that is the sound of a good coffee. Actually, that's not. No, that's not either. Hold on. I don't know. Anyway, so it should be bit of a laugh. So I'm interested in catching up with a few of the people that I saw yesterday and finding out a little bit about them. You know, what motivates them, how they spend their time when they're not doing this kind of stuff at the weekend. I will have to say, and I know I've said it before, but that is a really good cup of coffee. So this goes out on a radio station called Sound Art Radio, and it's because it's really clever. Sound art, as in sound art. And sound. Yeah. But it's also art, and it's also by the River Dart, so it's Sound Dart.
Oh, see what you did there.
So works on all kinds, and it's sound. I never thought of that. That's really good. I bet I hadn't thought of that one. And
it's because I'm a Mancunian.
Oh yeah, that's interesting. So have you come all the way down from Manchester? Oh right.
I live in London.
Oh right, okay. The magnet pulled you in.
Pulled me in 20 years ago.
Yeah, I got sucked into London. And I got blown out.
Oh. That sounds painful.
No, it was a pleasurable experience.
Oh. Got it. So, what do I do? So if someone who wasn't really interested in talking to asked me that question, I would just say, oh, I'm in fitness. Okay. Because that's like the all-encompassing thing, and then they'd probably ask me how they would lose their belly, and then I'd get bored of the conversation and walk off.
Yeah.
But it kind of developed from being in fitness, and I've always been a dancer. So in fact, that's how I fell into the fitness industry.
Okay.
That I offered my services at my local gym because I couldn't afford my gym fees as a student.
Yeah.
And then they put me on all of the exercise to music courses.
Okay.
And that's where I realised that was where I was supposed to be.
That's great.
That my uni course kind of didn't mean anything. And that I carried on with it.
Yeah.
And that I needed to be teaching group exercise, but essentially dance, because that's my passion. And then about 10 years into that, so about 10 years ago, because that was about 20 years ago, someone asked me if I could teach a class with high heels, come up with a concept with high heels for a gym chain that I was working for, and I did, and that's where the idea for Strutology came.
Right.
And that was like the seed, the first class, noticing the difference in the women when they first came into the class.
Yeah.
To the women who then left the end of the class. It was like two different women.
Okay.
They whole load of them came in clutching their heels, like, am I in the right place?
Yeah.
Looking all nervous.
That's what I'd be like.
Yeah.
I would.
Clutching your heels.
I would, yeah.
And then by the end of it, the hair was flinging, the arms were out. They left with an elevated sense of confidence.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I hadn't expected a dance class to have such a dramatic effect in one go. And obviously then it became compound as well, and the people who came back regularly, just the change in their life, and it wasn't just it like spread through their whole life.
Yeah. So where'd you get that pasty from?
Oh mate, it wasn't pasty, but they have got pasties.
I know, but I want what you had.
Got to the bottom. It was a cherry croissant.
But I live here, I should know.
I've got a chocolate croissant from the same place, chocolate and almond.
Well, you can give it to me.
I will give it to you.
No.
Because I'm not hungry.
No.
I bought 2 in case.
No. So you may not have known this, but you had a strutologist here this morning.
Did we?
Yeah. She's called Zoe, and she's doing that BodyKind.
Oh, right.
She was eating I live here, and I didn't even know you were here.
Right.
What's going on?
5 weeks now.
Oh. Shame on me.
No.
So she had this really nice sort of pastry thing, but I don't think you've got any more left. But it looked like bacon and cheese.
Oh, yeah, pasty.
Well, she said it wasn't a pasty.
Oh.
She said it was like a...
This?
Yeah, that's it.
Croissant.
Yeah. I'll have one of them then, please.
Are you going to take away?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Is it warmed up?
Yeah. And then I'll have one of those little egg... What are they? Egg custard tarts.
Pastel de natas. They're a Portuguese custard tart, sort of a lemon vanilla flavour.
And they are lush.
Sounds horrible.
It is.
Yeah, well, I thought that.
I thought I'd just better try it just to prove how disgusting they really are.
Okay.
You alright?
Alright. Just doing a bit of Instagram.
Yeah, you do a lot of that, is that right?
Yes. A lot.
Did you enjoy last night?
I danced my socks off, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, got a few blisters this morning, but
Did
worth
you,
it.
Joe, did you do a bit of strutology?
I did.
Yeah.
I strutted my arse off.
Yeah,
It was great. It was really good fun.
Because I spoke to Zoe. In fact, I met Zoe this morning just by chance. She was on the bench having a really nice bacon and cheese croissant. Mm-hmm. So I've just had one. They're really nice. I always can't say your name for some reason.
What, Megan?
No, not Megan.
Bodiposipanda.
Yeah, that's the one. Megan, I can say. Yeah. Bodiposipanda.
There you go.
So tell me a little bit about that.
So Bodiposipanda is what I do on the internet, and it's about spreading body positivity, which is just the idea that everyone, no matter what shape, size, skin colour, age, gender, ability they are good enough, and they deserve to feel good in their bodies and not hate themselves.
So what motivates you to do this thing that you choose to do? What's the driving force?
I think it is still something that some people think is quite taboo, and it's not talked about very much. You know, body image issues, eating disorders.
Yeah.
We don't get many opportunities to kind of just talk it out and share our issues and find solutions to them, hopefully.
Yeah.
And we talked in schools yesterday as well, and these kids, you know, we spoke to year 7s were the youngest, so that's like 10, 11.
Yeah.
They're already thinking these things, and they probably were years and years ago, you know.
Sure.
I was thinking these things when I was like 5 years old, so
Right.
and actually having that in-person connection and being able to talk about these things and let them know that they're allowed to talk about them, it's really fulfilling.
What is it about your kind of story, if you like, that's made you get up and do something?
I kind of reached a point where I had kind of overcome anorexia, and I had gone back into the world, and then I'd gained a load of weight, and I just hated myself so much, and I spent all these years like dieting, trying to fix my body that I thought needed fixing, and I reached a point where I had kind of dieted my way down to this body that I thought would make me happy.
Okay.
And I'd spent my whole life thinking, once I am that size, I will be happy.
Yeah.
And I got there, and I wasn't happy.
Right, okay.
And I still hated myself, and I was still really, really miserable.
Yeah.
So I thought, this has got to change. And I got really angry thinking about all of the years that I had wasted dieting, and all of the years I'd wasted in my eating disorder, and that really pushed me to think, I am not doing this anymore. I've had enough, and I have to tell other people as well that they don't have to live like this.
Right.
So that was what started it, and now it's just kind of snowballed into a bigger thing. For the future, I mean, I've just written a book, which is called Bodipositive. So there's hopefully that'll get out there into the world and like change people's opinions. That'd be nice. More speaking events like this one, maybe more. Yeah, body image festivals. I think the world needs that, and just keep spreading the word. You know, I've never had a master plan. It's always just been, I found this thing that changed my life, and I want to share it with as many people as I can.
So have you enjoyed it down in Totnes?
Oh, it's been lovely so far. I haven't had the cream tea yet, which obviously needs to be done before
you do
I go, doesn't it?
you do really.
Doesn't it? Yeah. Any recommendations?
Oh gosh.
That's the really fancy one.
I am the treasure protected by its curse. I am the river on its journey toward the sea. I am the clue to life's unsolved mystery. I am the search for that four-leaf clover. I am the breath you held underneath the water. I am the starlight that gathers after dark. I am the swing that sits empty in the park. I am.
Good talk.
What did you get?
You alright? Or you just
That's
emotional?
that's my thing that I don't like about me. It's my snot.
Oh.
It's like hay fever, but it's not.
Is allergies, is it?
Yeah. I think I'm allergic to bacon and cheese croissants.
No, can't be true. Dude, just live in denial. Well, you do, that's like...
Excuse fingers.
Oh, it's
my
one of those
God.
custard tarty things.
It's a pasta, no, what's it called?
I don't know, she went on about it in the shop. I went to the same place. I had exactly what you had. I had a croissant with bacon and cheese.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you had?
No.
Oh.
Where's that then? The Cornish
No, but I
bakery?
can imagine
Where's
that would have been amazing as well.
That's the one down there.
Yeah, this has got nothing to do with Cornwall. It's like
It's Portuguese, isn't it?
Portuguese.
Portuguese, that's what I was trying to think.
Yeah, it's Portuguese.
It's
It's like a Nando's, but clearly much less inferior.
But I was going to share it.
Crack on.
Do you want to try some? Yeah, should we do? Do you want to do?
Let's
Come sit.
then-
have a nibble.
Did you Oh god, you just sat in the glasses. Hold on. Oh god. So I'm making that little radio show.
Yeah. I did remember, I hadn't drunk all the whiskey at that point.
Did you drink whiskey? Yeah, thank you.
I drank quite a lot of whiskey.
Is that your favourite tipple?
My favourite tipple, it's sort of my post-show habit.
Okay.
Forged at Edinburgh Fringe.
Of course. So was that the first time you'd been on the old Fringe? Froge?
No.
No, silly.
I didn't really do it this year, I went up for a week.
Have you done it lots of times then?
I've done it, 3 or 4 times, 4 times.
Okay.
Lost count.
You alright? Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, feeling a bit late.
How'd your nervous poo?
Had several.
Snake poo.
But I'm gonna.
That's what we call it in our family. Anyway.
Yeah, you look great.
Presented poo for me.
Yeah, I feel a bit, my eyes are
I
watering.
think they call it snake poo because I don't know.
My eyes just too
Just keep coming out.
It is. Shall we? You can have some.
One of those Portuguese.
Portuguese man of war. Well, it's Portuguese custard tart.
Yeah.
It's the same number of syllables.
I'm just gonna pull a little bit off it.
I was stung by a Portuguese custard tart.
I had the best. It was a raspberry and almond croissant earlier.
As a
Okay.
Polish person,
Why did I think it was bacon and cheese? For goodness' sake, same colours, I suppose.
I'm just gonna get naked.
What again? Pearl.
Yes,
What's her name? Pearl.
Glory Pearl.
Glory Pearl. She's really getting naked again. And she's going to do what she did yesterday in the church.
I believe so.
I don't know. It's only 15 minutes. She's only doing a 15-minute thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we could pick her up and baptise her in the font.
I just want to get your grubby hands on her naked body.
Yeah, it's true.
I am the residence that you find love is shared. I am the raised hand that swears to God. I am the moments when you realize you're lost. I am the door that opens to the street. I am your neighbor, the one that doesn't speak. I am the fisherman dreaming only of the sea. I am the Jedi Knight's destiny. I am.
Been in the church, and Harnaam has been talking, big audience, and some really interesting, very, very interesting to listen to. So hopefully I'm going to catch up with her soon and find out a little bit more about her story.
Yeah, so my name's Harnaam Kaur. I work as an activist, so an anti-bullying activist, body confidence activist, and soon to be author. I'll actually just slip that there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So actually, I was in the church and I heard your words, very inspirational.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about the book then, please.
The book's more about how to heal and overcome trials and tribulations, and it's just a book that people can go to when they're going through a certain difficult time in their life. And I've added stories in there about me and how I overcame some hurdles, or growing up in school, what it was like, etc. So it's not like a book about me and my life, but it's definitely like a self-help book.
And how do you, have you written stuff before? How do you find that kind of creative process? Is that quite tricky? Or?
To be honest, reading and writing is not something that I really liked. I'm more of a movie watcher. And it was, when you have great friends around you, they really evoke things in you that you never really knew you had. So I started writing and writing blogs and writing articles for different magazines, etc. And that's where my love of writing came. And then my friend was like, okay, you're going to write a book. I was like, okay, am I? And then I just started the process, and it's really just become something that I love, enjoy. I'm definitely looking forward to writing more books as well, so just some children's books, some animated books, etc.
So how can we use social media to get across some of the messages that we're hearing this weekend about BodyKind?
The easiest thing you can do is use hashtags. So hashtag BodyKind Festival, hashtag even Devon, things like that. But, social media is a very powerful platform. I would absolutely say look for more positivity on than negativity. A lot of the images that you see on campaigns, adverts, etc., even on social media, 99% of them are actually photoshopped. So I would absolutely look for accounts, follow accounts that are all about positivity, embracing yourself, and just you in your natural form.
Cool. And you're off now to Exeter to the WOW?
I'm in Exeter for the Women of the World event. As a talker. I'm going to be there on a panel as well. Then we're going to London, and I've got another event this week, and then 2 next week in London. And some stuff with BBC as well.
So you're going to come down and see us? Have you been down to Totnes?
I've already adopted a mum here.
Yes, I am.
I came along last night. Saw the performance that you did. And weirdly, when I woke up this morning, I couldn't think why, but I had this James Bond theme tune.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot apparently.
So you're Chris Paradox. And that's the one-legged existentialist,
stand-up beat poet.
Stand-up beat poet.
Yeah. If you think of it in chunks, one-legged, existentialist, stand-up beat poet.
That's it. What is that? What is the paradox bit then?
Okay, so I was kind of, it sounds really hippie and fluffy, but I was given it by the tree I was living under.
Okay.
So I kind of gave, back in 2002, I was managing director of an advertising agency and earning 70 grand a year and the whole thing, and very ambitious. Then I had a wake-up call as to the fact that the life I was living wasn't really me, for a variety of reasons, and went on a bit of a journey to find out what I was supposed to be doing with my life, which ended with me deciding to go make myself homeless, give it all up. Wife left me, mum disowned me, all my friends thought I was crazy, and decided to go and live under a tree in Battersea Park for 7 months in 2002. And the feeling was, okay, universe, you've shown me what I'm not supposed to do with my life, but you haven't shown me what I am. So I'm just going to be a bum. I give up. I'm just going to be a guy who's sold the big issue and lives in a park until I know why I'm here. And the first morning I woke up, the way I describe it sort of retrospectively is that unknowingly I went through a process of stripping away my roles and identities, or my masks, who I thought I was, who I was with my family or at work, and all of those things were stripped away. I was nobody. I was a nobody. Had no money, no nothing. And I woke up a nobody in the park, and what was left was the bliss of aliveness.
Okay.
And one day, about 3 months in, a poet. I was 35. And I'd never written a poem in my life, apart from being forced to, at English maybe. And a poem poured out of me, and I sent it to a couple of friends, and I still had a couple of friends, only 2. And they said, "Oh, this is good. You know, have you written any more?" And I thought, "Oh, let me see if I can write any more." And then 2 other ones came out, and I remember after that happened, I was kind of hugging my mother tree that I used to sleep under, and I heard from somewhere, "Help them to understand paradox." Now, to this day, I don't know if it meant help people to understand paradox, because I love paradox. It's it's the only non-dualistic word I know, and the simplest definition is 2 apparently contradictory truths that nevertheless may be true.
Okay.
So the sound of silence is the example I always give.
Nice.
It's a contradiction, but we all know what it means. And I think that I've always felt that paradox is the key to the mystery of life, because whenever you look at things one way or the other, it's always a bit of both, and it's always something else in between.
Sure.
And so my life has been very paradoxical. Stupidest, dumbest thing I'd ever done, and the smartest, was going to live in the park. It turned out to be the smartest, and it was a crazy, dumb thing to do. Losing my leg, worst thing that ever happened to me, turned out to be the best. So I've lived a very paradoxical life. And so when the tree said, "Help them to understand paradox," I heard it as, "Help them to understand your stage name is Paradox."
Hadn't written a poem before, and then suddenly, like, bang, out it comes. What's that about?
I've got theories on everything. It might not be right, but I've got a theory about it. So I live a poetic life.
Right.
And I'm writing a book at the moment about my life story, and I've just got literally dozens and dozens of tragicomic inspirational stories that actually happened to me. Dozens and dozens. I need a novel. And the whole park thing was very poetic. You know, a guy who's decided to give it all up, and it was very what's his name? Henry David Thoreau. Somebody that had all the privileges and gave it all up and went to live in the woods to simplify and find the truth. And so that's a poetic thing to do. And out of that sort of nature mystic squirrel whisperer experience, that's where the poetry came from. It literally came from the world and life, because I'd opened so much to it. Real focus at the moment is my book, which is an autobiographical novel called Confessions of an Egomaniac, the tragicomic true story of one man, his 12 selves, and their epic quest for happiness.
That was a How production for Sound Art Radio. For more details, please visit soundartradio.org.uk, iamthehow.co.uk. And thanks for listening.
I work here now, but I used to work in London. There's a word that people, they call them twats, which is, and it's nice. It's Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Oh, wow.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
That's a good one.
So if you're a twat, it means that you...
Is that where that word actually came from?
Well, yeah. No. Oldie English. You be there twat.